What's going on, everybody? Today we'll be talking about the different types of personalities in prison. We're going to be talking about some characteristics and traits of convicts and why we're such smooth talkers. Why is it that good girls like bad guys? We're going to get into all that today. So do me a favor, if you ain't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Let's get this thing in rotation, okay? Let's get it cracking with no more, dragging things out here. We're going to start off by mentioning the aggressive inmate, right? The aggressive inmate tends to come off as a bully, tends to come off as someone who preys on the weak and says, hey, I'm living prison the way I see prison, the way I've known prison, the way I've seen prison in movies, so on and so forth. Now, in today's climate, that's a no-no. No one likes the bully. No one likes the rapist. No one likes the guy who's punking people for the shoes, etc., etc., etc. 2020, I guess the way things ended up being, the sensitivities from the streets and how people are in the social climate somewhat carried over to prison. Because if you go back into the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, but really like the 80s and the 90s, anyone who knows anything or who has studied their history, obviously I wasn't born in, obviously I wasn't a part of that culture, but I've had so many cellies who were there at that time. Prison rape was a big thing. People had punks, they had, jailhouse girlfriends, and that was common on any side and anywhere of prison. That happened, So the whole punking, bullying thing wasn't really an actual, real, true concept. It was just a true way of life in prison. Over the years, decades, as you can see, that has changed. Do people still rape their cellmates? Yeah, it happens. It's not something that's extremely prevalent. It's not something that's, promoted. It's something that's extremely frowned upon in any side, in any part of prison in this day and age. So where does the aggressive inmate stand? The aggressive inmate continues to win, right? And I've seen this, because I am very aggressive. However, I'm very patient, fair, understanding, and I just want peace. So when I say I'm aggressive, it's not the aggressive that I'm explaining to you. We'll get into the type of aggressive that I'm talking about as far as myself. But this type of aggressive that we're talking about, the preying, the bullying, stuff like that, I've seen it does work. They are prevalent. They can get somewhere. They can bully themselves into a situation. They can kind of win everyone over with that bully presence of, hey, if you say anything, I'm going to get on you. Anyone says anything here, I'm going to get on you. They only last so long. They're like a star, right? A shooting star. Just boom, until it's nothing. All gas, no brakes until a car crash. And that's exactly what the super aggressive bully type inmate gets in this day and age. Now, the passive aggressive, calm, laid back, let's just say the more softer type, right? Who just wants to do his time, doesn't really want that kind of smoke, probably doesn't got no hands. Where does that inmate sit in prison? Well, that personality was always ideal to have. Like if you were going to have a cellmate, for me personally, I always like to have a strong cellmate. I never wanted a cellmate who was weak or could be preyed upon. Yeah, because at that point, I'm going to have to carry him. You know what I'm saying? You just want someone that if something hits the fan, right? A situation and you end up in some hot water, or your cellie does, you both are going to pump each other up and you're going to come out of your cell and you're going to go to war for each other. That's what you want. So the softer personality usually, takes a lot of criticism, usually is the butt of everyone's joke. I wouldn't necessarily say they're getting punked or bullied or anything like to that extreme, but they're not winning. They're not taking any type of dub. Their reputation is nothing. And you know what? What's a reputation in prison anyways, right? However, if we're talking in the atmosphere of living in prison, they're losing on a daily basis. They just kind of run their program, they go to school, but hey, they don't end up in the hole, they don't end up in the shoe because they don't really do anything, they never get their hands dirty, but they just don't have that respect coming in, and they're okay with that. They're cool with that, they're not tripping on that. So that's another personality. And then you have the personality of the addict, right? The addict in prison. When you see an addict in prison, 9 times out of 10, he will have already tried to finesse you in some kind of way. Out of something. It could be anything from a pair of shoes to a bar of soap, to a stick of deodorant, to a damn picture that you got hanging on your wall. An addict who has an addictive personality, especially if they're running amok in prison. And when I say running amok, I mean doing drugs, slamming or whatever the case may be. They will come to your door with the most craziest energy levels, right? It'll be all love. Like, hey, what's up? And then right in the blink of an eye, they have no shame. There is literally a wall that they don't have up anymore. It's something that is missing, to where they will just try to finesse. And a lot of them don't really mean any true disrespect. It's just their moves. And I had to deal with this a lot when I was actually selling dope in prison. A lot of the homies, a lot of people have habits. We'll just say that. A lot of people have addiction problems and habits. So there's a saying, right, that I always tell everyone, especially people who ever, sold or pushed dope in the pen. You cannot make everyone happy. You can give, and you can supply everybody. Someone will still complain. You either gave this guy more than you gave this guy. I'm already out. Come on, man. I know you got more. What's just another little piece? Come on, man. Let me get it. No? Oh, man. All right, then. As soon as he's gone, they're smutting you up. That's the kind of addictive personality that you're going to have to commonly deal with, because how do people deal with a lot of trauma on the streets? Let's just talk about quarantine. How have people dealt with quarantine out here? Uptick in booze, drinking. You see your boy, I drink now. I drink a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's how people are dealing with the boredom, dealing with the quarantine, dealing with their issues in life, whatever the case is. No one's perfect, so people do that. So it's only natural that something like that would bound over to being incarcerated, except, hey, what's coming in? The heavy, the hard stuff. We're talking about crystal. We're talking about heroin. We're talking about those heavy type of drugs. And people are using them to cope. However, so now people who didn't have addictive personalities, people who didn't have these problems are running around now acting like they do, because they haven't slept in 3 days. They cluck their whole, and when I say cluck is a term of just coming off your whole locker, right? Never once have I ever had to participate in something like this. I would talk down to it. If I had a cellmate who did this, I would talk down to him, and I would make him feel like straight shit. If your family sends you money and you just need to get high so bad that you're willing to pay $50, which is probably your whole locker full of soups, chips, everything that your family sent you, for a little piece of paper to get you high, then that's when I would talk down to my cellie, just let them know, like, hey man, that's your business, but I want you to know why you do that, bro. Like, you better than that, bro. Like, come on now you're gonna be hungry. Don't ask me for none of my shit. Don't be trying to eat none of my shit now that you got rid of all yours. So I had to deal with the addictive personality, very close, having to sell dope. This is probably the most common personality you will come across if you find yourself in that atmosphere. Now, next up on the list is my personal favorite. This is who I am, right? This is we're gonna call this the athletic personality, right? The achiever, right? We all have an achiever in us, and there's so many prisoners. People say, how are prisoners so smart? Well, because a lot of us are actually very good achievers. We just wanted to achieve the wrong things in life. So being a criminal, being a gang member. Some people go to prison and they want to rank up higher, and get the higher ranks, the higher titles, the higher, better tattoos, more significant validations, and go to certain prisons. It's an achievement, right? It's the same thing people go to college for, to go to school, and you get your graduate, you get your doctorate, you get all this other stuff. It's the same thing, but in reverse, right? And it's actually harder to achieve. It's harder to achieve and actually become someone. And it's not going to Penn State. You're going to State Penn, but it's college nonetheless. So people see it that way. So the achiever, the athletic personality, right? Doesn't have to be someone that necessarily dwells and dives too far into the deep end and goes and just wants to achieve that maximum potential on the criminal side. But it can be the person who actually ends up in prison, in the shoe, in the hole. Someone who, like myself, man, who constantly would smash people, constantly would get in trouble, constantly would be in the shoe, constantly would be in the hole. And it wasn't because I was a badass. It wasn't because I was crazy. It's because that's how I chose to do my time. There's nothing like laying a demonstration on a yard so people get the gist not to fuck with you. That's all that was. Unfortunately, I just was just a little too much of an overachiever at doing this shit that I would land myself in the shoe, because it would go from a mutual combat to a battery with SBI, battery GBI, whatever the case was. Just shit strong enough to get you in the shoe, along, 9 months, 16-month shoe terms, whatever the case is, riots, whatever. So when you're in the shoe, does your athleticism and your achievement stop? Absolutely not. That's where you hone in on your athletic personality and your achiever personality. I've read over hundreds of books, and I'm nothing special. So I have plenty of prisoners and inmates. Reading books is something that stimulates the mind and helps you grow. Helps you strengthen your body. Worked out all day long. Learn how to braid sheet lines. Learn how to make shorts out of sheets. Learn how to make beanies. Learn how to make everything you can think of. Clean my floor every single day. Made a routine, made a program. Constantly achieved and executed everything that was on my day-to-day list, which is not a lot to everyone who's free. Which is not a lot to regular people that are like you guys who are watching. But the discipline of being able to mark off every achievement. How many of you guys can say that you woke up today and achieved, or you woke up yesterday and after the day end, you actually achieved something? You were athletic. You worked out. You not only did you work out, but you stimulated your mind. And after you stimulated your mind, you did your laundry. Like, you just ran a full, complete program. How many of you guys can actually say you did that? Not a lot, right? Because at some point in life, at some point throughout the day, being free, we tend to slack off. We tend to make excuses. We tend to have other people do shit for us. In prison, it cannot be that way. So this is the best personality. This is the person that when you come out to yard is hitting pull-ups and dips the whole yard. But if something's about to hit the fan and they come and they're like, hey, is the first one to be front line to fuck shit up. That is the athletic personality. That is the achieving personality. That is the personality that even the fuck ups, because the fuck ups is another personality, right? They're the ones who are so far into the gang shit. They'll come out, they'll stab you the fuck up. They don't work out, they don't hit burpees, get high every now and then, but their main shit is just gang shit. They will poke you. They're the ones who deal with politics. They keep communication from this yard to this yard, this prison to this prison. Let them run that shit. That's what they do. Even they respect the opinion, the thoughts, and the mentality of the achiever and the athleticism. That is the one universal personality that's respected by every single person. And if you find yourself in a position like me where you end up getting in trouble, or you find yourself unfavored by a bunch of weak sheep, they will flatter you at the very end by putting at least 3 people on you. That's a compliment. If it takes that many people to fuck me up, to remove me, to discipline me, or anything of that nature, you just paid me the hugest compliment. Sure, I'm pissed. Sure, I'm not happy with how it's going down. And sure, I want to survive. But when it dust all settles, it's like, damn, I guess I really am that motherfucker, man, when they put that many people on me. Hey? So I just wanted to give you guys a quick glimpse into a couple of different personalities in prison. Maybe tomorrow I can do a couple more personalities in prison and how to navigate through prison dealing with these kind of personalities, because a lot of them are very intrusive. A lot of them are from a day-to-day grind. You live with these people. They're your neighbors up top, on the sides. You go to yard with them, especially when you're on a level 4 180. You're just confined with each other. Your section is like your small family. Everyone knows everybody in the section. It's hard to avoid personality. So what do? I will have the questions coming soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe. Smash that like button. It's all love over on this end, baby. You know how we do it. Savage Squad in this bitch.